Alrighty everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. And today we have some news to discuss. A rather hefty, lofty announcement from none other than the man, Thomas Rhett. You all know who he is, no introduction necessary. Anyways, he took to his Instagram just the other day and dropped quite the bombshell announcement on us, the gist of it being the guy is dropping 2 albums in 2021. Now, before I give my mixed thoughts and opinions on this, if you didn't see the video, I'll give you a quick rundown of all the details you need to know. Essentially, early 2022, so most likely the first quarter of the year, Thomas will be dropping the first LP titled Where We Started. And then in the fall of 2022, again, most likely the final quarter of the year, the second album come out, which is the long-awaited Country Again Side B. Now, overall, the idea of dropping 2 unrelated albums in the same year doesn't bother me. If anything, I like this move from Thomas, which I will explain later. I guess the part that confuses me is, why isn't Country Again Side B coming first? The only reason I bring that forward is because wasn't this whole Country Again phase being advertised as a double album? Because now it just seems like Thomas hopped on the double album bandwagon when it was hot, even though he didn't actually have a double album. Now, I'm not the bottom line. I can't tell people how to release their music or what qualifies as what. However, it just feels weird to me because when I think of a double album, I think of 2 sides of a record on the same album like Dangerous. Even something like Heart and Soul, I don't necessarily see as a double album as much as I see 2 related records, because a double album is singular. Uno, one album. Album with 2 records worth of music inside. Whereas with something like Heart and Soul, that's 2 albums. Plural. It's not album, it's albums. Although I can still accept something like Heart and Soul to be considered a double album because they were released right after each other, but I have to draw the line somewhere, and that line is being drawn straight across Thomas Rhett's forehead, because not only are you releasing each side a year and a half apart, but you're also having an entirely separate album cycle in between. The year and a half apart alone is enough reason for me to draw the line. For lots of artists, that's just how often they release music. An album every 18 months to 2 years, but the whole separate album cycle in between is really where I start to feel like this guy. Look at Hixtape, for example. There's Volume 1 in 2019, Volume 2 in 2021, but would anyone consider Hixtape a double album? No, it's a series. I'm not saying Country Again isn't a little ongoing series within Thomas Rhett's discography, but to call it a double album just doesn't feel right to me, and I know that's just me being nitpicky over wording. Honestly, I don't really care, but just the fact this thing is still being held onto as a double album just feels odd to me. But enough of that, it's time to stop pondering how we're getting it. It's time to discuss what we're getting, because as I said in the intro of this video, I quite like this move from Thomas. As many of you know, I was a big fan of Country Again Side A. I reviewed it quite highly when it came out, and to this day, there's still songs I go back to quite frequently. Was it perfect? No, there were definitely some sturdy bumps in the road, but on the whole, especially for an album from someone in that upper echelon of mainstream, I found it to be a super enjoyable record, arguably my favorite project Thomas has put out. So with that in mind, I think it goes without saying I was and still am super excited for Country Again Side B. In June, he released Things Dads Do, which aesthetically appeared to be the obvious lead single from Side B. Now, though I wasn't huge on this song when it came out, it's definitely grown on me, and I like what the song was trying to do. I just felt a bit rushed during the writing phase. The cadences and rhythms can feel a bit odd, but it wasn't bad. I wasn't complaining. Until August 6th, when he dropped the heaping dumpster fire that is Redneck Be Like, which was and is the most obnoxious, blatant attempt at recreating the success of Fancy Like by Walker Hayes. But did they think that was actually gonna work? It's the songs that stand out as different, for better or for worse, that will gain traction, especially on platforms like TikTok. So a painful recreation isn't gonna cut it. They're just gonna go to the original one. Everything about Redneck Be Like just makes me want to go deaf. But more importantly, my high hopes for Country Again Side B began quickly dissolving. Since Side A didn't have the sales his label was looking for, it was back to bleh. But then Thomas came out with this announcement alongside this new single, Slow Down Summer, and this is where I don't mind the move of 2 albums in 1 year. Because with another album that isn't Country Again Side B, in my opinion, it serves as a great chance for Thomas to please his label and dump all the garbage on. Use it like a dumpster to fill with trash, like any dumpster is. And then release Side B later in the year with actual good tracks. And if that's going to be the case, by all means, give me Where We Started. I can deal with a sacrificial album to make way for another edition of Country Again. As I said, this new track, Slow Down Summer, is the lead single from the first album we're getting, Where We Started. So while we're here, I may as well talk about it. And I don't really like it. The whole thing just reeks of 2017. It feels like a bland cover of a Hillsong United track mixed with Justin Timberlake's attempt at country, but not Say Something because that was an actual good song. A Slow Down Summer just feels like Blundstones, sharply trimmed beards, colorful tattoos, and fancy Starbucks lattes. Stylistically, it's such a clash of so many sounds that don't work well together. It's like he's trying to make a turkey dinner in a state-of-the-art kitchen with lunchable ingredients. The synthetic drum loop rhyming along the piano, like I said, just reeks of the bad parts of 2017 country. The massive organic percussion in the chorus mixed with rapid trap hi-hats. In the bridge, we get these awfully compressed, echoing claps that feel more plasticky than plastic itself. And then at the end, we get these big orchestral shots and string lines that, granted, aren't that bad on their own, but when tossed into the mix with everything else, it just comes out humorously bad. And I think that's the case for most of this song. It's not that every aspect of the song is bad. Some parts on their own are fine, but when layered in with everything under the sun, it just feels like a sensory overload with no artistic direction. So even though lyrically it's nothing nearly as bad as the production, it's nothing to write home about, and most definitely not enough to make up for the production. Who would have thought my favorite Thomas Rhett song from the last 4 months would be a collaboration with Surfaces? Because at least they can execute a game plan to make an enjoyable piece of lo-fi mellow pop. So yeah, that is my scattered spectrum of thoughts regarding everything coming from Thomas Rhett at the moment. I am once again looking forward to Country Again Side B. I am ironically looking forward to Where We Started. Be sure to let me know in the comments. What do you guys think of all this? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. If you're new, maybe consider subscribing for more country music content. And yeah, until next time, have a great day.